Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angels Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriasecret.com.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And today we are covering, and just like that, this is season 3, episode 7, They Want to Have Fun.
No, they want to have fun.
Oh, they want to have fun. I'm sorry.
Girls,
you know what I want?
They want to have fun.
And you know what? I'd like to have fun too. But this show is not giving it to me.
I liked this episode.
Oh, you did? Okay. You did. Why?
I did. Well, because I thought that the friendship dynamics were kind of back. I liked the thing with Carrie and Miranda at the end. Because Miranda's like a mirror for Carrie and, forces her to really deal with what's happening. And Carrie has kind of been in a bit of in La La Land, I think. A lot of this season kind of doesn't know what to do or what to think, clearly. And I don't know. I liked the thing with Adam and Seema finally, getting together. That was exciting. I don't know. I just thought it was just kind of, and then, Giuseppe's mother.
You liked her?
That was interesting. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, she's a total bitch, but it was interesting. It's like, oh, okay, here's an interesting character. And, the stuff with her talking to Carrie about being a step parent. I thought that was interesting. We're starting to, deal with some issues here.
Yeah. And I'm with them all this. I think my frustration is not to spoil the lead here, but it comes out that Harry does tell, her Charlotte's Miranda and who does she? She tells Miranda, Carrie, and LTW, but not Seema, about what's going on. Harry reveals his diagnosis. And he rightly says, and I asked something of my, loving wife that I should not have asked, which is to keep it to herself. And I shouldn't have done that. And what frustrates me about this is, this is something that I feel like it's a bad, I feel like much younger people would have a harder time, would have as much struggles as these middle-aged people to get to these points. But I feel like Charlotte pushing back on Harry and saying, no, I do need to talk to my friends, or this becoming a bigger deal earlier, I think that feels more realistic to me. I just feel a little bit like they're creating scenarios that then they can then sort of fix a couple episodes later. And it doesn't make sense to me because I feel like Charlotte, Harry, all of these people, if we're being true to their characters, it would not have taken them several weeks to get to this point.
She would have pushed back that weekend when she wanted to talk to LTW at the glamping. I don't know if that was last week or 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. But I think she would have said to him, I told LTW I couldn't keep it in anymore. Yeah. I'm sorry. And then that's how it would, or she would have had some kind of meltdown or something that really what it was she needed to talk about it. That's my frustration. It's like, okay, now two episodes later, we're doing this. It's the same thing with the whole 5 years thing. It's like, okay, now we're explaining it. It's like, why is it taking everyone so long to get to this point? It's like, well, isn't this obvious?
They are stretching things out because, they do have 10 episodes, 12 episodes, whatever it is.
I'm assuming it's 10 because it's always been 10, right? I think it's always been 10.
I don't know. Well, if that's true, God, this is episode 7. So
where are we going?
Yeah. Where are we going? It seems like there's a lot that needs to be figured out.
Yes. I don't know. I'm really, that frustrates me. And so we've got characters like Harry, who is a really sweet, kind, loving person, kind of coming off as being all over the place. And then that whole thing at Bergdorf's were like, oh, I was worried the two of you would meet. And, just all of that.
that was pretty corny.
Okay.
Anyhow. Well, let's talk about, so it starts off with Carrie's at Duncan's door.
Oh, yes.
And she's like, I just loved your first chapter, And
now, are you at all, of course, and I was like, of course, these two love each other's first chapters. Of course, your tongues are so far up each other's asses, I can't even tell you. And it does, and it feels a little bit like Michael Patrick King and
Sarah Jessica.
That's what it feels like to me. But
yes. Okay. The Mutual Admiration Society.
Yes.
No, and I mean, how exciting can the first chapter of a biography of Margaret Thatcher really be? Like, oh God, it just sucked me right in. I mean, this is some kind of glorious prose that she's just fawning over. I mean, this is dumb.
Well, and yes, they're both experienced writers, but you both have put together a beautiful first chapter with no edits, no nothing at all, no criticisms, no anything.
Well, and also let's talk about Carrie as a writer. Okay, wasn't her first book just a collection of a bunch of her columns?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
that was a gimme.
Yeah. So then, when was the second book? I don't even know. I can't even remember. What was it about? It was about herself. I mean, she wrote kind of, I guess, the journey of, getting married, and I don't even remember. I mean,
did she write a book about that? I mean, that's the thing. To me, it feels like she had the columns put together and then she didn't write a thing for 20 years until Big dies. I assume that it's supposed to be that she's been writing this whole time, but the book about Big was the first time that I think I ever saw her with a book agent, besides what was happening way back when.
I'd forgotten all about that. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So he dies. But I thought she wrote something in between.
Maybe she did.
Maybe she did. Okay. So tops, she's written 3 books.
Yes.
And one, like we said, one was just her columns. And this season, she's really been embracing, I'm a writer. Mm-hmm. And this man has written several historical, biographies of historical people, which require a ton of research. These books are incredibly, if you're writing about the life of someone like Margaret Thatcher, what was his last one? Winston Churchill or whatever. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's just apples and oranges.
Yes. Yes. Well,
and Carrie's like writing about the woman arrived, in the city, and she
yes.
doesn't know what's to come. Or I mean, what is this?
Well, the other thing too is if you know anything about, right, like Duncan's supposed to be this sort of, man of the world, intellectual, those kinds of personalities, they are so snobby. I cannot tell you how snobby they are. I've encountered them recently. That whole I don't own a TV. Right. I only read. I read The Atlantic, and I go to this, and I do this, and I do that. Like there are very much these people out there.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that guy. Unless he wanted to get in her pants, which is what I kind of feel like. It would be great if the big reveal is they had sex, and then he's like, "You're an idiot." I didn't like your book at all.
I think, look, he's lonely. He's in that.
Yeah. And he's charming. He is very charming. He's cute. He's charming.
He's in that hovel writing all day.
Eating mutton stew.
Yeah.
Mutton.
Where do you even get mutton? Like, where do you even buy that? I think he's just, Carrie is sort of a shiny object to him. I don't think he has any deep feelings. And I think he's just kind of there to maybe push her to examine what's happening with Aiden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to fall in love and have some great romance, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
With this show, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
Okay.
So
she loves his book. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know quite the order of this, but so there's the scene where we meet Giuseppe's mom, played by Patti LuPone, of course.
Yes. I was like, interesting and she's never been on the show before, which is a bit surprising. Just because she's sort of a New York fixture.
Yeah.
But this I thought was this is an interesting character. So she's from Buffalo, and she goes to New York. She moves to Italy, and
she speaks in an Italian accent, but she's from Buffalo.
Yes.
And moved there when she was 19 and married a man this was one of her things, her obsessions about how, this much older man. She seems to be really obsessed with this older man issue, because then she projects that onto Anthony.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what's going on here, or what we're so are we led to believe that Gia is angry at Anthony, or like she's misplacing her frustrations, or maybe her own life choices, the choices that she made by marrying a much older man and building this life with this much older man? Does she, like, I would assume, right, she fears Giuseppe's going to do the same thing, and blah, 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 right? Like that's the parallel that we're seeing.
Yeah. And I guess, but what is she saying? Is she saying that her marriage was so terrible? Because of that, he was much older, and then she brings up the stepchildren. Apparently he had children who didn't like her, and she said she went to school to become a therapist so she could understand why they didn't like her. This is a lot. I don't know, but this woman is a lot. But.
Yeah, but it's a huge, kind of like storyline or thing to talk about. And I'm sure Michael Patrick King's like, we had to bring someone from the outside, someone that didn't know what was going on. Someone from the outside. I swear to God, I have not listened to this, so I have to listen to it now to see if he says that. From the outside to represent this quandary that Carrie is going through. But yeah, the whole thing is very. So yeah, I'm with you, because I was like, what I got the sense from the way Gia was talking was that she was happy with her. Like, she is happy that she went to Italy, that she was happy that she wasn't looking back on her life going, it's been one mistake after another, that she was. And she's happy with her choices.
Son, yeah.
Yeah. She loves her son. It sounds like you loved your husband. This was the choice that you made. I think it would be different if they were showing us different ways in which her being married to this much older man impacted her negatively.
Right.
And the one way it's impacted her negatively is stepchildren, which as stepchildren ourselves makes me a little triggered. I'm not going to lie. Pisses me off that it's always about these mean stepkids.
Right.
Or maybe not everyone hates their step-parents. People hate step-parents that aren't good to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it also depends on how the parent introduces them and
yes, that too.
The whole transition, whatever. Yeah. I mean, when you just spring, someone on your children, usually doesn't go well.
Yeah.
And kind of sounds like that's what happened here. And yeah, there's a way to do it well, So it sounds like maybe Giuseppe's father didn't handle this well. And then her reaction that she has to become a therapist.
Yeah. You get not even a therapist, you get a doctorate. Do you know how hard? I mean, that takes a long time. I mean, you're a doctor.
Yeah. So
you didn't just take a class.
She's obsessed with this.
Yeah.
She's obsessed with this older man issue, and she's taking it out on Anthony, and she doesn't even know Anthony. And she doesn't even give him a chance. And she's just really rude to him. And she says that she doesn't like this whole selling, she calls it selling sex, the whole bread shop, which, she's kind of right on.
We're with her on this one. God, finally someone's saying it. This is stupid. And he's like, we're selling bread. It's like, please, Anthony, really? We're selling bread. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's annoying too. That was annoying. It's like, why don't you just say, yeah, it's called marketing, Gia. You know how many bread shops there are in New York? How do I get people to come to mine? I'm telling you.
But also, I mean, I hadn't even really thought about the age difference before between Giuseppe and Anthony. And it is significant.
It is. Oh, yeah.
Because, realistically, we know he's the same age as the ladies. It's like 60.
Yeah.
And that's the thing on this show. They try to act like these women are much younger than they really are. They are 60 in real life and in the
not on the show, because they said, it's not her 60th. But yeah, they're in their late 50s.
Yeah, in real life, Sarah Jessica Parker just turned 60.
Yes.
Yeah, the other two, they might be like late. They're all late 50s to 60. And so is Anthony. And this Giuseppe, what is he, 23, 25?
Yeah.
I mean, he's young.
I mean, it is.
That's
it is a huge age difference.
It's like a 30-year thing. So as a mother, I think I would be concerned about that.
Yeah. So then again, I got to let this go, but it pisses me off. So we got another therapist. A therapist of her age and her caliber would have enough awareness to go, I'm being mean to Anthony because I'm upset and worried about my son. I need to either mind my own goddamn business and decide that I need to not say anything and let my kid do what he needs to do, or I'm going to decide I'm going to sit down with Giuseppe and share how I feel and then let it go from there. But just being automatically mean to him and just, outwardly rude. And then what I thought was so odd was Anthony calls Carrie to complain about Gia. And I'm like, no. Anthony would call Charlotte. But that doesn't further the storyline, because we have to then see Carrie have lunch with Gia so that we can have this conversation about the stepkids. And that's the other thing that's irritating me is what Amy and I were talking about last time, which is we need a character to come and be a step parent and reflect this back on Carrie. Okay, how do we do that? Let's start backtracking it. And then that's how we end here. Versus there's so many different ways you could have introduced someone that could have reflected that and had that conversation. But that just bugged me. It's like Anthony wouldn't call Carrie. He'd call Charlotte.
Yeah. I mean, true. Although, I mean, I think, I don't know how else they could have done it. I mean, it is actually a good way to get to the stepchildren conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, it feels like what happens is who can we get to be Giuseppe's mom? Patti LuPone. Okay, so who's Patti going to be? Okay, Patti is going to be this. Oh, and then versus like, where do things, that's what Amy and I were talking about. Like, where do things naturally go? What feels like, based on what we know about these characters, what do we feel like would feel true to them? And I think that was one of the things that I appreciated about Sex and the City, was that it really did feel like, in so many of these stories, it really did feel very true. Like, each character's reason for saying what they're saying, there was always a reason, and it made complete sense. And now it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I'm going to push back on that. I think it's more realistic that Gia would be drawn to Carrie than Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously Gia and Carrie hit it off, whatever discussion they had at the coffee shop. Gia says, "Oh, do you want to have dinner with me?" So she probably, whatever energy Carrie has, she was more attracted to that. And she probably would not have been as attracted to Charlotte, because Charlotte is just very different from her. So to me, that makes sense.
Okay. No, I'm with you. No, I agree with you on that point. My point is that it would have made a lot more sense for Anthony to say, "I just got off the phone with Charlotte. You're having lunch with Gia." That's much more realistic. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Gosh, you guys are tough. You guys are tough.
I know.
Oh,
all right.
I'm not a writer. I don't know.
Neither am I. But but after Amy was like, "What good thing after?" I was like, "Oh my God." I mean, so the fact that a writer can very easily start doing this, and you're kind of like, okay, so this isn't what we're asking for, and what we're seeing and what we're wanting is not out of line or too much, I think. That's my feeling.
Okay. So anyway, they go out to dinner, and, the stepchildren thing comes up, and Carrie's like, "Well, I'm actually, in a relationship with a man who has children." And Gia automatically thinks that they all hate her. And it's like,
because that's what evil stepchildren do. They just hate the innocent woman.
Yeah. So Carrie's like, "No, but maybe one of them." Maybe one of them hates me. And so then Gia says, "Don't waste years trying to become someone that they will accept." And it's like, well, that sounds like what you've been doing, Gia. What do you mean?
So you got you went to school, got a doctorate, built an entire career to realize that you have been being someone that you're not this entire time. Oh, okay. Aha. That's so weird.
It is weird. Yeah, she says, inauthentic beings never win.
Which is true.
Yeah, but I don't know where this is all coming from. Gia needs to be in therapy. I hope she is.
Yes. Again, I am so sick of them. They represent therapists as crazy people. We are not nuts. Our behavior may not be exemplary all the time, but we have awareness. We're aware of our dysfunction, but we might still be dysfunctional, but we're aware of it. And so this feels very weird.
That's what they say. People become therapists to understand their own
stuff,
their own lives.
Yeah.
Okay. So Carrie tries to put in a good word for Anthony, but it kind of goes nowhere. Poor Anthony.
No. All right. I didn't write things down in order. I wrote them as based on character. So I don't know where we are. So can we backtrack for a second? Because we have to talk about Lily. Boy, they really want to make her insufferable.
I hate her.
They? But that was this big, so Diego breaks up with Lily, and Lily has a goddamn meltdown. And it's a little bit like, wow, you guys you're going to keep leaning into this, aren't you, to make this girl just a monster. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I have to say, having witnessed, a breakup.
Was it just like this? Was it this traumatic?
It was worse. Actually.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh
yes.
No!
I think anyone who has, a teenage daughter, has a daughter and has been through the teenage years, has seen something like this. So it is very realistic. They do like take to their beds, and it's a mourning process.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was realistic. I don't like Lily, so I really don't want to see her, but that is realistic.
Okay. I mean, my son doesn't leave the house, so he's never meeting anybody. I've never been through any of this with him. What I thought was interesting, and I'm not disputing whether or not that this would be realistic. It's more of, okay, you're really doubling down on this one. Okay, we're going to make her even more insufferable.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I don't know how anyone could like Lily at this point. And I liked how Rock, when Lily was refusing to go to her mother's birthday party, Rock basically said, you're fucking going, get your ass up. That was good.
Well, and I think Rock also says Mom was crying in the pantry the other day. So again, we're back to your kids aren't 2. They're not 2 and 5, right? They're teenagers. They see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't hide things from them.
Yeah, so they would have an idea of what's happening, and so yes, all of that feels real and true. But it just feels like, are you ever going to tell these kids? Anyway.
Yeah, no, they couldn't.
How do you explain the surgery? If he's going into surgery next week, how do you explain that to these kids?
Right, like where's Daddy going?
Yeah.
So he's going on a business trip or something?
Why is Daddy wearing adult men's diapers?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's already got the diapers. She's already picked those up. Like, what is happening? Like,
yeah.
Does he need them now or after the surgery? I don't quite know what that's all about.
Okay, so we also have to talk about so basically, as we sort of figured out, was that Charlotte at the coffee shop says, I have so much on my plate. Miranda's like, well, what do you have on your plate? And so Carrie and Charlotte can't say what's going on. And so Miranda guesses that there's something off here, and she's asking Carrie about it. And so Carrie, in a way to prevent from lying to, like, having to, I don't know.
Well, she does end up lying.
Yeah, I was going to say to prevent herself from telling Miranda what's really going on, she invents this lie that Richard Burton is sick and has terminal cancer and is dying.
Doggy cancer.
So, of course, Joy is devastated by this news.
Joy loves dogs more than people, which I think is going to become a problem because, first Miranda says, do you want to come to Charlotte's birthday party with me? And she's like, ugh, no. Mm-hmm. And then she finds out that, it's, she's going through a hard time because her dog is dying of cancer. And all of a sudden Joy is like, oh my God, of course I'll be there. I mean, that there's something like, what is happening? And there's going to be, I think we're going to come to a head where there's going to be a choice between Miranda and the dogs. And she's going to choose her dogs.
Miranda's going to be walking the dogs and she's going to lose one. Or something like that's going to happen. And it's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some people find Joy kind of boring. I mean, I think she's a good match for Miranda. I feel like they're energy matches, but I do feel like they're not giving Joy any depth here because every line she says is very dry. Mm-hmm. Very, like, it's always a sarcastic, dry comment. And they're not, like, can we see, like, if the two of you are just chilling at home, is she going to be that dry with you the whole time?
Yeah, no, it's very, like, she has a shtick. And
it's like, I got my 5 minutes at the Chuckle Hut and I gotta perform this for you, Miranda.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going with Joy, but it's going to have something to do with the dog.
But what, and so then she tells this lie about the dog and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, why didn't she just say, look, she should have just told the truth and so what if Charlotte gets upset? It's like, Miranda needs to know. People need to know what's going on. And people are already figuring out something is wrong. You've got to tell them.
And then what if Carrie really told Miranda the truth and and says, listen, I wasn't supposed to tell, can you keep it to yourself? And it comes out that she did. Why can't Carrie confront Charlotte, not in a mean way, but be like, Charlotte, this isn't okay.
Something's wrong. Yeah.
Something's wrong. I can't, I didn't want to lie to her. And I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? I'm not spreading this around town, but
yeah,
Charlotte, you're the one saying I have so much on my plate. Like, kind of, it's not, you're opening up the door for Miranda to ask questions. And so, and that puts Carrie in a really tough spot. So why can't they have that conversation?
Yeah. Well, thank God the cat's out of the bag.
Yes, we all know now.
We can all move on. We all know. Now we need to talk about Seema.
Yes.
I don't understand like this whole thing about how she's acting like she's now destitute or something, like she's broke. Like what, you didn't save any money, you had nothing. And also, there's certain professions where you're never unemployed. If you're a realtor, you're a lawyer, you're never unemployed. You're just in private practice. It's like Seema, and she's going out there. She's sold, she got Miranda a place. You can still make money. You can still I don't understand what this is. Just again, why is she acting like this?
It's bizarre because they're like, you have been doing this for 20 years. You're so Ryan Serhan took every single one of your clients, not one person. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would be able to take a certain number of clients. You have this reputation, you have these relationships.
Yeah.
That doesn't just dry up because you're no longer part of this larger thing. It's you take your relationships, you do, and you rebuild. Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
And so it would be much more realistic to see her maybe, right? This whole thing, it's all about Seema refuses to take a cab. She refuses to do this. She refuses to do that, right? But her maybe trying to operate this business from her house, her trying to navigate that from her house or something like that. That's a little bit more realistic. Or some sort of office that maybe isn't as flashy or fancy, but you're trying to get it together. Or maybe that's what Amy and I were talking about this too. Like, this guy ripped this out from underneath you. You haven't been saving any money. It would make far more sense if she had a business manager that stole everything.
Yeah. Wasn't she a partner? I mean, her name was on the thing. So how is it that he was able to take all the business?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. But,
and sell it out from underneath her.
Yeah.
So that's the part. And again, I don't want to sit here and just complain, but that's the frustration with the show, which is you tell us like Seema's this very sophisticated, successful realtor. She has her own, she's at the top of her game. She's number one. And she saved, she was so dumb that she signed a contract that would allow her partner to take everything from underneath her. She saved no money with no plans and no, you know what I mean? And now she has nothing. It's just,
yeah, this is just an excuse to put her in these wacky situations, where, I guess she had to be feeling vulnerable enough, they had to take her down a few notches so she'd hook up with this gardener guy.
it kind of feels like you're poor too now.
I have to date poor people. I can't date wealthy people anymore. I'm not in the same category.
I don't have a driver, so now I have to start fucking gardeners.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to this sketchy place, to get my eyelashes done. And I mean, although I loved that.
That guy was great.
Guy was something else. And yeah, but the thing about the infection, that is
real.
True. Layla, she used to do that, the eyelashes. And, to go to a good place is very, very expensive.
Oh, I know. I used to go to a good place and it was expensive and it took like 3 hours.
3 hours?
2.5, 3 hours. I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
She was like this woman, she was a craftsman. She really was. This woman, she put so much into this. She was good. But truly, there'd be times where Steve would call me and it's like, it's dark out. When are you coming home? What has happened to you?
Yeah. Well, and then a couple times to save money, she went to a sketchy place like that. And she did get an infection. In this one place, they put so much glue. It was disgusting. Then she had to go to another place to get it removed. And it was like, we are done with this. It's over.
You told her no more. You can't do this
I told
anymore.
her no more. I'm not paying for it. I'm not, you, even if you use your own money, no, this is ridiculous because it is so expensive.
It is.
For what? It's like, your eyelashes you're young and vibrant. You don't need this. Just put some mascara on.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They're really nice in the sense that when you're not wearing makeup at all, you always look great. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's cool in that way, but the maintenance of it and, you have to clean them and, it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. I think you're better off just learning how to do the fake ones on and take them off than trying to do this. So, anywho.
So that was funny, but
I swear there's a part of me that wonders, like, Louis Vuitton eye patch. How do we make that happen? Seema gets her eyes poked. Okay. How does Seema get her eyes poked? Like, that's what it feels like, though. I have to say she really did rock that eye patch. I really did like it. I have to say she looked good. But what do you think about this Adam guy singing Betty Davis eye? Did it seem sexy to you? Did it seem like,
I think it seemed sexy mostly because of how she reacted. Like she liked it.
Yeah.
She was smiling, she was laughing, like she liked it. So it worked. It was good.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I want to talk about karaoke. I have a very unpopular opinion. I don't get karaoke. I don't understand it. I don't know why people want to do it. I
think you have to be really drunk.
I don't see the appeal of it. To me, I feel like that's something private. You need to be singing to yourself in the car.
So I'm saying you have to be really drunk. And the only times that I've done karaoke,
oh my God, Brooke, you've done karaoke. What did you sing?
In a bar. Yeah.
Do you remember what you sang?
It was like, some hard rock song. Probably, like Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me or something like that. but yeah, because alcohol is the only way that happens.
So I don't know. I find karaoke really uncomfortable. I really do. I do not go to karaoke events. If you ask, I will not go. I find it really uncomfortable. I find that like 30 seconds into the song, everybody is bored except for the drunk person that's singing. And it feels I don't get it. Why do we all want to stand around and watch each other poorly sing songs?
Well, I think it's an activity for when you're drunk, or there are people who really like want to sing.
Yeah.
They think they're good singers. And you've been to, well, I don't know if you've been, like I've been in a bar where they have karaoke and like the same person will go up and sing 5 songs and they're serious. They're singing like Whitney Houston, like, trying to be, they think like this is their show. Like,
they think this is their set.
Yeah.
Oh, for my next song, I'll be singing. I'm so glad you're all here with me.
Taking requests. Yeah, no, those are the two kinds of people. It's the people who are serious and want to sing in front of people, and then the people who are just really loaded and they're just doing it.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I sound like a real loser party pooper, but it's the Tom Brigham in me. It's the like, oh God, I'm not going to do this. This is stupid.
Well, yeah, like LTW's son, like he's a perfect example. Like, someone who just wants to sing and be heard, and and just it's just painful to watch. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's very painful. And so what's up with Miranda? Like Miranda's, you know what? Miranda the lesbian is very goofy. Do you know what I mean? She's very different. And again, maybe you could argue like this is the evolution of who Miranda is, but I don't know. I just never got the vibe that Miranda was like karaoke.
Well, I think she's trying to, she thinks that this is about cheering up Charlotte, because of the dog cancer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, she's putting her all into it. She's trying to be, she's just trying to be a good friend, trying to be, I don't know. She's trying to cheer her up, make things better, whatever. Poor Miranda. She just has to take, so much.
She really does. I just feel like this woman's working really hard here. This job. I mean, she's getting all of Carrie's anger and bitterness, and she's getting like all of that kind of stuff. And she's just trying to have fun, I guess.
She is. She just wants to have fun.
She just wants to have fun. So one thing that, and then we can get to the sort of the Duncan stuff and the Miranda Carrie conversation. Did you catch this? Did you clock this? That at the party, Anthony goes up to Carrie and says, if it comes up that I've been married before, what did she say? Hold on. Sorry, I wrote it down. If it comes up, I've never been married. And then Carrie goes, neither was I. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
I thought that was odd. Like what? And so
was she just trying to be funny, though? I mean,
maybe she was just trying to be funny, and then it made me think, like, wow, she really doesn't talk about her husband all that much.
No,
like after that first season, it was like, I'm with Aiden now. Like there's no talk of big. There's no picture of him. Maybe you might not have a picture. I don't know, but this was very significant. And so you're saying, oh, neither was I. I would think you would be proud to have been married, that it was significant and important to you.
Yeah, I think that they were trying to just, it was
maybe a little
trying
joke.
To make her just be funny, like it was a joke. But you are right that Big has literally just been written out of this show. There's no mention of him, and like obviously when she started this relationship with Aiden, of course she is going to be triggered, and it's going to make her miss Big and make her, like that. Those feelings would come up.
Yeah.
And no one's even spoken a word about him since the first season.
And I wonder if this is a blind spot on the writers feeling like they can't talk about him because of the Chris Nuff allegations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those things came out, and then we haven't heard anything since. But there was he had a lot of stink on him, and people were distancing themselves. And I do wonder if there's a part of them that feels like, oh no, let's just not even touch that. Let's not go there, because they don't want the criticism. But again, it's we're talking about a character on a show, but that's just what I'm thinking. But it is odd. It is odd that they never talk about it, never talk about, being married and the fact that, she knows what it's like to be married for a long time, right? I mean, just like Aiden is, she's not a completely novice just because she doesn't, anyway. So I thought that was weird. Okay.
Yeah.
So Duncan comes to the party and he and Carrie are tight. They are smoking on the porch. They are gossiping about everybody. They're sharing a scotch, which is a very intimate thing to do. I thought that was very intimate.
What, sharing a drink?
Well, kind of like they were switching back and forth, like, ooh, I'm now drinking from it. Now you're drinking from it. I don't know. Okay. I don't think I would do that to you. I mean, I wouldn't keep taking your drink and drinking it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I thought it was very intimate. And so Miranda clocks it. And they have this post party conversation where, Miranda points out how close you and Duncan are. And Carrie's just shuts down. She's pissed. She's angry. And Miranda is shocked and reveals, like, well, I'm sorry, I read your, like the first couple lines of your manuscript. It was on the counter. And it, the first line was the woman didn't know what she got herself into. So I'm worried. And Carrie's just not happy.
Well, to read that much into it, I thought was dumb. Like, the woman didn't know what she was getting herself into. Like, so from that,
Miranda read too much into that one line. Okay.
Yeah. To extrapolate that to mean that, Carrie's having some sort of life crisis or something, I thought was a stretch, but it did trigger Carrie, which means that she is wondering what she's gotten herself into.
Yeah. Well, we saw in the first episode of this season that nobody was challenging her on this. Like, both Miranda and Charlotte were like, oh, so he's going to visit you in 5 years? Okay, great. They weren't saying anything. And so to me, it felt a little bit like Miranda's been holding this in for a while now. And now she's really kind of, I'm witnessing this. And I think she is worried about her friend. I mean, I would be, if this was my friend, I'd be like, 5 years. What?
I think she's looking for a way to bring this up.
Yes.
Because Carrie's not talking about it.
Yes.
So she's looking for a way to bring it up. And it is, it needs to be talked about because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Aiden is fucking ridiculous. I really don't like him. And I don't want them to be together. This is not going to work. I've been thinking about this ever since I watched the episode, is that she and Aiden, they didn't have a good relationship. It was all, they had like chemistry and they had good sex, but they were total opposites. Remember, like, he never wanted to go out. She always wanted to go out. They are total opposites. They have nothing in common. They have no interests in common. Nothing. He's kind of like, he's not very intellectual, or, she's much more, I mean, they're complete opposites, which is why she ended up with Big and, all of that. Like, why are we bringing this guy back? And why is he back? And I'm kind of mad at him. Like, why did you just show up in this woman's, he literally just, was it he that contacted her?
No, she contacted him. She emailed him.
Okay. And then he said, I'm going to be in town. And then they met for dinner, whatever. Yeah. It's like, why? I don't know.
Well, that's always been the argument. That was the argument way back 20 plus years ago, was that they were very different people, that it wasn't ever going to work because they always wanted different things. And in the end, what broke them up was they wanted different things. They wanted different lives, different lifestyles. And she didn't want that. And so, yeah, you're right that it seems so odd a little bit, like, and I think what would be interesting is if we saw her say, you know what, I I jumped right back in. Like we don't have a lot in common. I jumped right back in because it just seemed like I lost big. And
yeah, she was lonely. She was grieving. She was, of course it was exciting to her, but yeah, she acted very impulsively and it was a mistake. And I think that that's what she is resisting, is admitting that. And that's why she got upset when Miranda tried to push it and tried to bring it up. She doesn't want to talk about it because she knows she made a mistake. And now what? Like,
well, and it also brings up this other piece of Miranda says to her, I see you working so hard with Aiden. And she sort of throws this back of like, well, you and Joy have only been together, a month, and Aiden and I have been together over 20 years. And yeah, I am working hard and this is work. And this whole idea of, right, everyone always talks about that relationships are work. And yes, they are, but there is a difference between constantly working on a relationship to make it like okay versus working on a relationship to make it better. And that's a little bit of this trap that people get into, where they get into these relationships where they're like, well, relationships, are work and this should be difficult. And then, but you're working just to kind of have, like, I do think there's a point at which if you are working so hard all the time, then it's maybe the relationship.
Yeah. And also this relationship isn't going to work because I don't think Carrie wants Carrie. Maybe this is why they brought Gia. Carrie doesn't want to be a stepmother.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I mean,
no, she, because in the beginning, all this stuff she's been doing has been to cater to Aiden's children, buying that house with all the bedrooms because they were all going to come and visit. And that's never going to happen. I think she realizes that now.
Yeah.
It's like, what was I thinking? She completely changed her life for him.
Yeah.
She was perfectly happy in her apartment. She didn't need to, but he wouldn't go in there.
Yeah.
Well, after she sold it, of course.
Yes.
She's realizing she just gave up everything and is trying to please him. And she doesn't want that lifestyle. She doesn't want to have to deal with his kids at all. And, kids are your kids forever, your whole life. So she doesn't want this. She made a big mistake. She jumped in and so she's just like, oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. And I really hope this is how it all ends, because that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I want her out of that Gramercy place. I don't like it. And also that kitchen, is that the main kitchen or is that sort of like a side pantry?
I feel like, isn't that the servants' quarters? You have this
so tiny. I know.
Huge house, and you've got this teeny tiny old kitchen that is seating for 2 people barely, and an old fridge.
And they always seem to be in there.
Yes.
They're always in that kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's tiny. And it's like, this can't be the main kitchen. There has to be another one.
No, I think that's it.
She needs to get out of that place. She needs to go back to her apartment. She needs to buy that girl, was it Giselle or whatever her name was, buy her out, get her apartment back.
Or maybe find a new place that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
A size and a place. I mean, listen, you have all the money in the world. You can pick anything that you want. And that is also, I think this is also one of these interesting things. When you have a lot of money, maybe if she didn't have all this money, what would she have chosen to do?
Exactly. She wouldn't have been able to do all that.
So there is something to be said for sometimes having more money to throw at problems isn't always the best thing. So anyway, she and Miranda make up at the end and they all say goodbye. And I find it very irritating that the kids call her Aunt Carrie. Aunt Carrie, Aunt Charlotte, Aunt like, that's weird. That's all. I just think that's weird. Did we miss anything? I know we went in circles, I'm sure. LTW didn't really do anything. she had a lot going on last week. So just her son loves karaoke. They should have given the karaoke machine to him. I was like, give it to him. He's the only one that really wants it.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that was bothering me about this kitchen is that Carrie, did you see her? She was wiping up crumbs with a dishcloth. Like, who does that?
Carrie, because we all know she doesn't cook, right?
She's struggling. Exactly. She does not even know how to clean a kitchen. She's struggling.
What do I use?
Yeah, a dishcloth? No, that's for drying dishes and drying your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You get a sponge.
Yes.
Something wet.
A wet paper towel, maybe.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you wipe down your counters. Oh, God, Carrie.
But that's the frustration of the show is hearing Sarah Jessica talk about the show and knowing how they are dog-earing books. Like, she's now reading this. Yeah. Now she's doing this. Now she's doing that. Like, you are such attention to detail on those things. But like, you can't keep straight that you've killed off characters, and even the basics aren't even quite right, you know? So.
Yeah. God, love this show. In fact, when I went to go visit Mom yesterday, she was watching Sex and the City.
Sex and the City, or Just Like That? Or she went back in time? Oh, what season was she on?
I want to say it was the episode that Hot Child in the City.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Dating the guy who lives with his
parents. Yeah, that's a good one.
That must have been like
that's like season 3. Yeah.
Maybe.
That was when the show was really like season
so
3 season 2 was pretty good, but like season 3 really, I think that was their best season, was 3.
Yeah. Sure. And Samantha was, she was coordinating this bar mitzvah for this obnoxious girl and her friends. And
mm-hmm.
I laughed out loud several times. I was just listening. Didn't even watch the whole episode. I'm like, God, this is when Sex and the City was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was Charlotte and Trey had just gotten married, and he's can't perform, and they go to the therapist who makes them do all these things. And then she finds out that he's masturbating to, magazines, the Jugs girls in the bathroom. And they're at the coffee shop, and Charlotte's telling everybody, she's like, I don't understand. He can obviously perform. He can do all these things, but he won't do it with me. And Samantha's like, Madonna whore. It's like, I just love Kim Cattrall. She just always freaks out with she wraps everything. Well, yes, of course, Madonna whore. Yeah. It happens all the time.
And she was right. She was right. So.
She was right. So yeah, once upon a time, this show was just glorious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but then the women get older, and it doesn't work anymore, because the show's success was that they were just dating man after man after man after man, and all the funny things that came up, and all the scenarios you could have, and all the Oh, and this is the one where Miranda she thinks she got stood up by this guy who asked her out on a date.
Are you talking about the guy that died?
Yeah, and she calls his house, and his mom answers the phone, and she's like, I don't know what kind of son you raised, but he stood me up, and she's like, Chris died yesterday.
Well, and you know what the thing was? Back then, they would have these situations where, they would be dating so that Miranda could wear the braces on the date, and then she gets a bunch of stuff in the braces. But because that character, we weren't going to see him the next week. It was that's when these funny, jokey kind of Catskills bits, they work. They're funny. It kind of ties everything up together, and then you move on. But yeah, this show it's the story of these women's lives. And I think that the other part of it too is that Sex and the City was a lot of it was escapism, but it was, there were these through lines of how people really felt, but it was at this heightened state. And I think that, when you're 20, 30, I don't know. I think that's much more appealing. I think there's something about being in your 50s where you're just like, fucking shut up and say what you want to say. Like there is this part of this where there's a bit of, and I think that's my frustration, which is at this stage of your life, you aren't necessarily tiptoeing around people. You are being like, no, that's not going to fly.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back next week. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we'll never stop watching it. Yeah, and also the narration part of it, because Sex and the City, you've got Carrie's voiceover constantly throughout the whole episode. And back then, you kind of didn't really notice it. It was just part of the show.
Story, yeah.
And now without it, I wonder if maybe they should bring that back. Maybe it would help. I don't know. Because there was no...
You don't like this? And then the lady said this and her petticoats.
As she sat in her garden. Yeah.
Well, this is the other thing too, which is Miranda points out to her, like, well, your story said the woman doesn't know what she got into. And Carrie's like, it's fiction. And it's set in the 1800s. It's like, bitch, you've made your career on talking about yourself. Really? Really?
Yeah. We're supposed to think this has nothing to do with you.
I feel like Miranda's being very nice in that moment. It was a little bit like, everything's about you, Carrie. You make everything about you. Like, of course this book is about you. Like, that's not nutty to think that this is based on you. Anyway. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Sorry. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy our podcast, there's lots of ways that you can support us. You can leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate those. You can subscribe. You can follow us on social media. We're here on YouTube. So follow us on YouTube or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We have a Patreon. So go check out our Patreon. You get all these shows ad free. You get a weekly bonus. Plus, we have some extras for our higher tier. We're here on Mondays and just like that until the show ends. And then on Thursdays, we are doing various documentaries. This Thursday, we are doing the Stanford Prison Experiment, Unlocking the Truth. It was really interesting. So I think that's it. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angel's Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriassecret.com.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.